Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Closing Show. This is our collab show between Business Today and India Today Television. This is the 3 p.m. Market Closing Show where you'll get all the action. But first up, let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and the financial space. Prices for a long-pending India-US trade deal as the new US negotiators have begun talks in New Delhi. USTR Greer tells senators India is making its best ever offers on agricultural access, calling it a tough but increasingly forward-leaning market. Investment pours into India despite Trump calling India a dead economy. Microsoft has committed $17.5 billion into AI and cloud, while Amazon plans $35 billion till 2030, creating over 1 million jobs in India. Stock markets trade cautiously right ahead of tonight's U.S. Federal Reserve's rate decision. Sensex has fallen by 300 points today, while the Nifty has slipped below the 25,800 mark, led by IT stocks, PSU banks, while buying emergence is being seen in metal stocks as well as investors who are awaiting the Fed cues. Meanwhile, Meesho has in fact debuted today at a 45% premium at 161 rupees per share as against the issue price of 111 rupees. Indigo flight chaos continues with 300 cancellations today. The DGCA has summoned CEO Peter Elbers tomorrow at 3 p.m. While Delhi High Court has questioned soaring airfares, it is SpiceJet and Air India which plan to add 170 daily flights this winter to ease disruption. In the commodities world, silver prices soar to new record high levels, 1.9 lakh rupees per kilogram on the MCX and $62 versus an ounce on the COMEX. Now remember, this is right ahead of the Fed decision, boosting also Hindustan Zinc shares by 5% in trade today. The company is India's only pure silver play, and that sees a strong investor traction. Let's straight away look at how the markets are trading at this point in time. Well, the Nifty is hovering at 25,758. That's down by about 0.3% in the session. We are at the day's lowest point. Remember, we've had a very, very choppy session throughout the course of the day. This is despite the fact that yesterday was a sigh of relief in the markets. Now, only 3 sectors are continuing to hover themselves into the green. You can see metals, oil and gas, pharma, and just about slight uptake on the media stocks. But rest of the sectors have all slipped. Now, look at the mid and the small caps. That's where the pain point is. It's the broader markets, the smaller shares that are feeling the brunt of the market move on the nervous side and on the cautious side. In fact, small cap index, with this kind of a fall that we are seeing today, has already fallen by over 9% in the year 2025. In fact, it has logged in one of its worst years in the last 7 years in terms of the performance that we have seen year to date for the small cap index, now at 17,105. And that's where the pain point is emerging for a lot of retail investors that have their maximum exposure to mid and the small cap shares there. Let's look at the top movers as far as the Nifty is concerned. You have Eicher Motors, that's up by 1.5%. You have HDFC Life, you have Hero Moto, Tata Steel Coal India. These are all the stocks that are managing to stay themselves into the green despite the overall weakness in the sentiment. We can also look at the weakness, however, Indigo, again continuing the cancellations that we are seeing. This is despite Peter Elbers yesterday coming out with a statement that operations have stabilized. There are 300 flights that have cancelled today. So look at the stock that is also getting further beaten down, 3% lower for Indigo today. Eternal, Trent, Adani Enterprises and Shriram Finance, these are all the stocks that continue to hover lower. Let's now welcome our guest on board. Vineet Bulinchkar, the head of research at Ventura Securities, is now joining in. Warm welcome to you, Vineet, and good to have you with us. Hope your health is all good and you're back in shape. Help us understand what's your take in the markets per se. Now, we have been seeing a lot of volatile trade of late. What do you make of it?
Yeah, so we think that it's going to be a picky and choosing market. The trend in the small cap stocks continues to be pressured due to the effect of all the the pain that is being sold out. So we continue to be wary on this.
Right. Vineet, we'll just get back to you. We're facing some technical issues and we'll get that line through very quickly. Meanwhile, viewers, let's also welcome another guest who's joining in on the program. We have Vandana Bharti, the head of commodity research at SMC Global Securities, now with us on the program. And Vandana, it's silver that's shining the brightest, 1.9 lakh rupees per kilogram. Did you anticipate that coming in, especially after that post-Diwali dips that we were seeing in both gold and silver? It seemed that most of the rally is now done and out. But despite that, before the end of the year, you have another milestone that we have clocked in and record high levels yet again on silver.
Yeah, it's a massive return of 120% in international market. In Indian market, it is 140% almost. So yes, it is a return which can match with the return of 1971. But we were not expecting this kind of return in 2025. We were expecting only 55 to $58 in comics, and in MCX, I was expecting 1,50,000, 60,000 here. So this is the extensive rally in silver, and because of the government intervention. Announcing it as a critical minerals. These factors, these like stimulated heavy buying in physical silver. So this time it was physical versus investment demand, actually paper demand. So yes, there is massive decline in the mines production, and there is massive demand in industrial side. So yes, this is a negative correlation between the demand and supply, which is stimulating the price to the higher side. Now we are expecting that it may reach 70 to $80 in first quarter of 2026. So the rally will go on.
Okay, so the rally will go on, viewers. We are already looking at silver at an all-time record high price of 1.9 lakh rupees per kilogram back home in the domestic market. In the international market, it has surged to $62 per ounce. But what Vandana is saying that even in the quarter one of the new calendar year, from January to March, you will be able to see even $70 or $80 an ounce for silver as well. So the rally is only going to go strong from here. Well, do help us understand then, Vandana, what should as an average investor one do? Even at these prices are sky high, 1.9 lakh rupees per kilogram. Should one still take that plunge and buy because you do believe that prices are only going to go up?
Yeah, this is a very crucial question. And throughout 2025, retailers and investors, they were waiting for the dip, and it is yet to come. And for like every fall of 2 to 3%, 5%, people, they run for silver. And this time it was physical silver, ETF buying, it was on record high level. And, certain roles, they have emerged for silver this time. Earlier, it was only the jewelry demand, it was only the investment demand. This time it is going to be strategic metals, because central banks, they have started buying silver. Indian government now, 2026 onwards, we can take the collateral loan on silver. Now the central banks are buying. US and China, they have announced it as critical minerals. So there was huge, massive rush for physical silver, and because of that, we are yet to see any kind of correction. So even 2, 3, 5% of correction is a very good buying point for silver, and I'm not expecting that this commodity should go below the level of say 55, $56 in 2025. And in MCX terms or Indian terms, I can say that the support should be near 1,85,000 to 1,80,000, and this is a very good support level where they can accumulate, whether it is an investment demand or a physical demand.
Okay, got that. Hold that thought. I'm going to be coming back to you, Vandana, in a bit and try to understand more about its larger player, gold as well. In fact, I wanted to ask you, silver has outperformed gold in terms of this record high prices now reaching, but gold has been staying around that 1.3 lakh rupees per 10 grams kind of a mark. Help us understand what's your expectation on gold. Will gold also see higher record levels as well going forward in 2025, and what's the expectation there?
Yeah, on chart, we can say that longer the consolidation, higher the breakout. So gold is on that mode only, and we are expecting 25 basis point rate cuts, and we are expecting Kevin as a new Fed chief, as per the indication of Mr. Trump. So he is in favor of quick interest rate cut. So these few factors and geopolitical tension and other tariff tension, they will carry on in 2026 as well. So factors, negative factors for equity market and positive factors for gold. It is going to be same in the 2026. What will change according to current scenario? Fed interest rate cut will be sooner. So in that scenario, I am expecting that now this is the time of gold to outperform silver, because for the time being, yes, if we do the comparison of gold silver ratio, that is the ideal thing we can do that at present. So it is somewhere near 65 is to 1. Once it comes near 62 is to 1, then gold will try to outperform silver there. So this in that point we can see a pause in the rally of silver, and their gold rally will take on. So yes, $4,300 is a very crucial resistance, but if we study the option chain data, $4,500 is in sight because of the volume and open interest data concentration at $4,500. So in 2025 or early 2026, we can expect 4,500
Right.
kind of level in gold, and in
Sure.
Indian terms, it should be of 1,50,000.
Absolutely. Vandana, hold that thought there. I'm going to be coming back to you to understand better on where should one be investing, gold or silver, at all these high prices. But remember, viewers, we're also tracking the global story for you, and which is on the US-India trade deal. A high-level US trade delegation that's led by newly appointed Deputy USTR Rick Switzer and India deal chief negotiator Brendan Lynch has wrapped its meeting at Wanijya Bhavan, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Meanwhile, US Trade Representative Jameson Greer has actually confirmed before the Senate Appropriations Committee that a dedicated American team is already on the ground in India and working on a potential trade deal. In fact, Greer has also admitted that India is still a tough nut to crack on US farm exports, particularly on crops, meat and dairy. But he's also stressed that New Delhi is more forward-leaning than ever before, offering some of the strongest market access proposals that US has ever had. Back home, the Commerce Minister also has shared the update on India-US trade talks, saying that the discussions with the US team in India are progressing towards potential free trade agreement. Let's actually hear the remarks of all the representatives there.
You mentioned India. I have a team over there right now as we speak in New Delhi working on this. There's resistance in India to certain row crops and other meats and products. They're, like you said, they're very difficult nut to crack. I agree with that 100%. But they've been quite forward-leaning. The type of offers they've been talking to us about have been the best we've ever received as a country. So I think that's a viable alternative market.
यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका की टीम मंगलवार से भारत में है और उनके साथ बातचीत निरंतर प्रगति कर रही है। बायलैटरल ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट की तरफ हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
To detail more update on the same, I'm now also joined by my colleague Karishma Sudani, who's been tracking this story very closely. Karishma, finally some statements coming in for the first time from the US trade representatives saying that India is a tough nut to crack, and we are holding our ground when it comes to the farm exports, especially dairy, meat and certain crops as well. Although the statements also come in that we are more forward-leaning and are probably giving much more to the US than US has ever had in terms of a trade deal with India.
Well, Sakshi, absolutely right. 2 important days with high-level meetings between the officials from Washington and Delhi. And this meeting stands of utmost importance because this is coming at a time where both the countries have been speaking of uptick in optimism when it comes to sealing the deal before the year ends. In fact, just a few days ago, India's Trade Secretary, Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, had also mentioned the same, that they're looking to seal the deal of first tranche, that is to do away with the reciprocal tariffs, at least by the year end. Minister Goyal today also affirmed. In fact, the US trade representatives have also shared a word of optimism. But the big question is just the way you put out in terms of India being a tough nut, where the US is still expecting some leeway when it comes to agri imports. President Donald Trump's comment comments coming in on rice imports yesterday, especially from India, Vietnam, and Thailand into the US at higher prices, again poses the same question that agri still remains a sticking point and will continue
Yes.
to remain. To what extent are we budging? Just we'll get to know in 2 days.
We'll get to know in 2 days, and that's going to be an important 2 days that you are going to be tracking for us. But Karishma, remember earlier when we were discussing with you what are the sticking points, we used to always come back to the point of Russian oil. Now that seems to be, a thing of the past and on the back burner. It's now on the deal talks right now. Whatever is on the ground, wherever the trade deal has to happen, it's all about that, because Russian oil was being seen as something we were being penalized for, and just being arm twisted for nothing. But right now, the talks are actually happening on the things that truly matter as far as the trade deal is concerned.
Absolutely right, Sakshi. I think, like they say, when the air passes, when the wind passes, so does the problem. Ideally, the 25% penalty that we've been given as a part of Russian oil is something that is in major question currently, because now, if you see, the discussions and negotiations between both the countries have come back to the talking table. Now it is again about agriculture. We have come back to doing the same conversation that we had started back in the month of
Absolutely.
April when the tariffs were imposed. So we should not be surprised, in fact, if a decision on doing away with the penalty tariffs is also taken in this negotiation.
All right. Thanks a lot then, Karishma, for sharing all of that update with us. Let me go across to Vandana, who's been standing by. Vandana, of course, one of the other things that's happening in the U.S. is the U.S. Federal Reserve policy, and tonight we will get to know the much anticipated whether there will be a 25 basis points cut. We are also given to understand that the silver prices actually soared this high right ahead of that US Fed meeting in anticipation of that rate cut coming in. Do you also expect that 25 basis points cut to be coming in? Will it actually provide further fuel to the rally that we've already seen, or is most of the rally already priced in because of this rate cut?
Sakshi, it has been discounted in the market, and the rally is a result of that. And 25 basis point rate cut, it will give impact on the gold prices. But silver, it reacted in advance and it is on front foot right now. It is not taking cues from gold and base metal. Now it is heading this counter. So whatever statement he will give for January or further month, it will give impact on the prices of silver. But silver has reacted, but still it has potential to reach the level of $64 or $65, what option data is saying right now, because there are lots of concentration on that strikes, and accordingly prices will move up. But the major move, it should come in gold prices, because it is in consolidation for long time.
In fact, on the same, we have a query from one of our viewers, and I'm going to be throwing that query to you. Prateek Singh from Mathura says, ma'am, where should I invest now? Should I invest in gold or silver, and which metal has better potential to give me higher returns? I think that's the key query there.
Few days back, I would have saved silver, but it is almost went up to by 40,000 rupees. But this time I would prefer gold, because gold, it is in consolidation and the value buying, it is in gold. So yes, you should go for gold, whether it is ETF or it is in physical. But yes, if you are want to trade in derivative, just trade with stop loss and for short term.
Okay, thanks a lot then, Vandana, for being with us on this program and, of course, helping all our viewers with your insight on both gold and silver and how do you expect these precious metals to go from here. Well, they're shining bright at this point in time and probably brighter in the days to follow as well. Now, when we talk about what's really happening in the world of investments in India, viewers, it's the biggest tech giants of the world. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they're all betting big on India. This is despite the fact that US President has time and again pointed out to India being a dead economy. Amazon and Microsoft have announced massive new commitments to India's digital growth and AI growth story. Amazon Senior Vice President Amit Agarwal has said that the company will be investing about $35 billion more and enable $80 billion in exports by 2030. Meanwhile, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has also unveiled a $17.5 billion AI and data center investment plan with a new cloud region in Hyderabad going live in 2026. Let's listen in to what they had to say.
We estimate that we are going to invest over $35 billion incrementally across our businesses. And when I look at the three pillars that we set for ourselves as a part of this platform, we would continue to measure our progress along those three pillars, which happen to be digitization, job creation, and exports. We estimate that we would create a cumulative $80 billion of exports by 2030.
$80 billion
$80 billion of cumulative exports by 2030.
Really excited about the investment we made. I had a chance to meet Prime Minister Modi yesterday and discuss our excitement about, and it's fantastic to see this all landing and ultimately being able to parlay these tokens per dollar per watt into all of the application systems that are going to get deployed broadly across the country. And so the $17.5 billion, which is the largest investment we made in Asia to date, and so we're thrilled about it.
All right, we also are now joined by Business Today Television's Shel Bhatnagar, editor for markets right here. Shel, welcome, good afternoon to you. 2 minutes to go before the markets shut shop. It's again turned out to be a very volatile session. We've slipped below the 25,800 mark. In fact, it's the small cap crash that is now raising some fear because the index has fallen by about, 9% in this year so far, logging in one of its worst years in the last 7 years. What's really happening in the markets?
It's carnage. You should look at the sales that are happening, and most of these will turn out to be delivery sales. You just have to look at the top losers in NSE 500 and see the extent of pain that is coming into the system. Let me just paraphrase it for you in terms of losses, gains. It rose yesterday, is now down 10%. Indigo, of course, news-led, down 3%. You have BSE down 5%. With it, MCX. And, these are all large-cap stocks with deep holdings in the mid-cap and the small-cap fund portfolio. So massive, massive selling pressure coming in today. Deliveries will determine the kind of pain that is likely to continue. Dixon is 8.5% lower, Sakshi. You have a cut to the extent of 3% coming in on Zomato. So these are popular stocks with wide distribution, valuations that were sky high, and those are getting corrected, Sakshi.
Absolutely. And Shel, tonight is when we will get to see what the US Fed decides as far as the rate position is concerned. Will there be any respite tomorrow?
Not for us.
Okay, so I
we
think the
continue
pain
to
is
see the pain.
Okay, got that, Shel. Thanks for being with us. Let's quickly look at how the markets have shut shop. Viewers, we'll wrap it up on that note. So you have the Nifty at 25,741, about 97 points lower in trade. So we have slipped to the low point of the day, 0.3% lower after that downward slide. And Shel clearly pointing out that there is more weakness to follow. It's a carnage, and you can see it from the broader market spread. The Nifty Bank is down by 0.4%. Mid and small caps down by over 1%. Like I pointed out, small caps logging in their worst performance in this year when we compare it with the last 7 years in terms of the percentage performance, so about 1% lower for this one. And it's a bloodbath when we see below the surface, particularly it's the broader markets. So while the Nifty, you may see optically, it's closer to its all-time high levels, it's below the surface where all the pain point is, and that is why all the retail investors are seeing their portfolios deep into the red at this point in time. Top movers on the Nifty today by the end of the session have been Eicher Motors, Hindalco, HDFC Life, Tata Steel. These are the stocks that have managed to pull themselves up in an otherwise very weak market, 1% higher in trade. Of course, these are representative of what's happening in the sector. So metals is higher, oil and gas is higher, pharma is up, and you also see media stocks up in trade. But mid and small caps are the biggest laggards in trade. You have the IT and the PSU banks among among the sectors also falling sharply. You also have the Nifty Bank, financial services down in trade as well, almost to 1%. These are the sectors that are down. On the Nifty, the biggest pain points, as Shell has highlighted, Indigo, Eternal, Trent, Adani Enterprises, over 1% of a fall for all of them. Now remember viewers, it's time for a break, but we will leave you with the visuals of the new Kia Seltos, which actually goes on sale from the 2nd of January. Prices for the new model have not been announced, but what is clear from the visuals is that the 2nd generation Seltos has completely overhauled exteriors and interiors. It will be available in the same 3 trim levels as before, but the new car is nearly a meter longer than the current model. The available engine options are also the same as before, 2 petrol options and 1 diesel. The new entrant spices up the mid-size SUV segment, which has already seen several launches, including the Maruti Victoris, Tata Sierra, and will also soon have the new Renault Duster.